Okay, the time has arrived. We are going to talk about squats. Okay, and today we're only going to be doing body weight or air squats. Yeah, same thing, different name. Um, and we are really going to talk about the mechanics of these things because I want you to do them well right from the beginning. And I'm going to show you some stuff that is going to help you do that. It may be weird and uncomfortable, but I promise getting the mechanics of the squat will change your life and it will change how effective your workouts are and it will change how much weight you can eventually lift. And it will also change your ability to do Olympic lifting if that's something you want to do. That's my dream for this program is that you get to a point where you can do that. Whether it's your dream, I don't know. Um, None of my business really. Like you take this as far as you want to take it. But for me, we are starting at the very beginning, moving correctly. Because to get to more advanced movements, you have to have good mechanics. So let's explore the squat a little bit. Might take me a minute to get this camera angle right. There we go. You guys could just get some like hot shots, don't you? All right. So the squat. There are several different things I look for in a beginner squat. As you get more advanced, I get pickier. Okay. But in the beginning squat, what we're really looking for, your foot placement is going to be, let's see if we can get my feet in here. Okay. So your foot placement is going to be anywhere from underneath your hips all the way out to your shoulders. Okay. What really determines this is the length of your femurs, interestingly enough. We're not doing math, don't worry about it. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and experiment with the width of your squat. Okay. Where do your feet need to be for you to get down fairly comfortably? Generally, the longer your legs are, the further out they're going to be. Nothing's wrong. It's just body proportions. So play with that just a few more times. You can bring them in. What's that? Ugh, I don't like that. There we go. There it is. Okay. So that's where your feet need to be. The next thing I look for is that your heels stay on the ground. So I'm going to turn to the side. Just watch my heels. Okay, watch my feet. They are down on the ground. Okay, so often people have restricted mobility, so I see heels come up. Okay, we want the heels down. I would rather you not come down as far, okay, if that means you keep those heels flat. Because when we load, this is not an option. So we have to work on that range of motion. So you only go down as far as your heels will allow you. Okay? And when I say that, what I mean is when they pop up, you've gone too far. When and if. Okay. All right, let's talk about what's happening with the knees because that's hugely important as well. As someone who has had knee surgery, it wasn't due to squats, but as someone who's had knee surgery, I take knee health very, very seriously. And most of my clientele are middle-aged women and I take it very seriously for them as well because we do get a little, I don't know, I guess I'll use the word rusty. We do get a little rustier as we get older. Okay. So let's talk about how we keep our knees safe in a squat. The magic word is out. Okay. We are going to push our knees outward as we go down into the squat. Pushing out, thinking about it, actively thinking about it, pushing my knees out, pushing my knees out. Now I'm going to go back up and I am still thinking knees out, knees out, knees out, knees out. Okay. When our knees come in, I mean, like, just look at that. Do I need to tell you that's a weak position or do you see it? My guess is you see it, right? The human body doesn't move that way. Okay, we need to push those knees out for safety and for a stronger squat. So the knees out thing actually starts in the femur, and that's one of those picky things that for more advanced clients, I'll lecture on. But for right now, if you are just really focused on getting the knees out, then you'll have a good squat. And then the last thing I want to talk about is depth. Now, like I said earlier, depth, first and foremost, is going to be determined by what is happening with your heels. When your heels come up, you've gone too far, stay. That's a great place to practice an isometric hold. Okay. So that just means that you go there and you stay 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and stay right there at that end range of motion until the body starts to get used to being there. And then you should be able to get lower. There's also mobility work you can do, and those videos are coming later. But that is part of this whole Hygieia project. Okay, let's talk about that depth. So I'm going to stand sideways on. What I'm looking for is that your hip gets below your knee. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here I am. Got to wiggle, right? Oh, me and my wiggling. It helps. It helps. Okay, here we go. So we're going to come down. Oops, see my wiggle? All right. So I'm down. Where are my hips? They're way down here, okay? There's my knee. It's up. I should have worn like different colors, like a bright red shirt so you could see my angles better. Lesson learned. So you could put, you know what? We're just gonna, here we go. Not washboard abs. I have average body fat, y'all. It's all right. Okay, let's get back down to that squat so you can see a little bit better. All right, so you can see my angles. My hips are below my knees. If I were to put a marble on my knee, it would slide down my leg. It would slide down my thigh. This is the depth that we are ultimately trying to get. Okay, this is the Olympic lifting depth, right? Where we can catch the barbell way down here. Most people, especially most 30 to 50 people, 30 to 50 years and above, have a hard time getting there if they haven't been practicing. Okay, that's okay. Like I said, go as deep as you can, stay in that nice isometric hold, and then come back a little bit later, and I'll have videos for opening up the joints, the ankle, the knee, and the hip to help you with squats. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video is keeping, actually that's a lie. The last mechanical piece of the squat I'm going to talk about right now is keeping the chest up. So it is not uncommon for us to see people squat like this. Okay. This is not an effective squat, especially like if you're just going to hang out and sit in a squat. I guess this is effective. Like you could cook over a campfire like this, I guess, but your back's going to get sore. Okay. There's a lot of stress on the lower back here. And the other thing this prevents is loading. Okay, so if you are in a back squat and you come forward this far, that bar is just going to anchor you to the ground. You're not going anywhere once you're down here like this with a barbell on your back. Front squat, you're just going to lose it forward. Okay, you will not catch a single Olympic lift like this. Okay, so what we're looking for in order to advance the squat, we're looking for the chest to come up a little bit more. So here we go. Really fighting to keep that chest up, coming down as vertically as possible. Okay? This is not bad. I will be the first to admit I have work to do too. I need a lot of work on my hips. I talked about my tight hips, but it's better than here. Okay? So just do what I do and fight really hard to stay as vertical as possible. Okay, so those are the main mechanics of the squat I look for in beginners. Okay, so we want the feet anywhere from underneath the hips to more towards the shoulders. Figure it out. Find what's the most comfortable. Then we want the heels on the floor. We want the knees out. We want the chest up. And we want the hips coming below the knees if it's possible. And if it's not, we work on it. We don't just give up. Okay. getting your range of motion in the body weight squat is imperative. You should not load a squat if you don't have the range of motion that gets you heels on the ground and hips below the knees. Okay, we work on that before we work on loading. People can disagree all they want. I will stand by that. And there's plenty of research to back that up. So let's talk about modifications. So just like with the Cossack squat, if you need to put stuff underneath the heel, you can. In weightlifting, we have shoes that have high heels on them, not like stilettos. I know what picture just went through your mind, and no, that's not what we do. Though I will say, weightlifters with our juicy legs do look pretty good in some stilettos. Now, you'll notice I've just elevated the heel, okay? And you would do both, obviously. And that will help you get lower into the squat, okay? But the goal is to eventually decrease the height of the book or whatever object you're using to elevate that heel. Weight plates in a gym are pretty common. But we want to continue to decrease the height of that support underneath the heel. Okay. The other options that you have are the strap. Again, you've seen this a couple times. So in order to help you keep your chest up, this is a good one, and it also helps decrease the weight on the legs, and especially the joint. So you'll just get into your comfortable stance, come down, and come up. And you'll see how much easier it is that way for me to keep my chest up. And it really does decrease the stress on the legs as well. If you are really having trouble getting down, hold on a second. You can do a squat to an object. So I'm going to use this little stool as an example. No shame in this, okay? Box squats, I used them for a very long time after my knee surgery. You just want to find an object that can catch you in the squat. Obviously, the lower the object, the deeper the squat is going to be. So this would be a really good place to start for me if I did not have the ability to get into a squat yet. I'm going to make sure all of my mechanics are still the same, but I'm going to touch the object with my bum and then come up. Still thinking about pushing those knees out, okay? So it's not just sitting down on the object and getting back up. We're still practicing good mechanics and pushing those knees out and keeping that torso upright as much as possible. Now, there is something called squat therapy. I'm going to grab a medicine ball. So medicine balls for this ideally are between 10 and 20 pounds, not because of the weight, but because of how large the ball is, the circumference of the ball. So squat therapy, let's see if I can get a good angle here. Okay. Squat therapy is fantastic for workouts where we have squats and you're working on your mechanics, okay? So you're going to get up against the wall. You're going to put your hands up. And the goal, and you're going to have to mess with it just like I do, is to squat to the ball with the arms up. So that's going to do a couple things, right? Most obviously, that is going to help us keep the chest up, okay? And the other thing it's going to help with is something we call the butt wink. And that's not a terrible problem, but squatting to a ball helps with that as we work on loosening the hips and strengthening the posterior chain. Okay, and that's just when the pelvis tucks under, we lose tension and the pelvis tucks under. That causes problems when we load squats, but like I said, it's not a major issue like knees or ankles or chest. So Anyway, those are a fabulous option if you really want to level up your air squats during a workout. That will work you harder and it will teach you better mechanics. So, anyway, that's 15 minutes worth of squat talk. You're welcome. See you later.